Welcome back to Newsday. Joining me live now is Nationals Leader David Littleproud. David, good morning to you. Well, first of all, big news. A ceasefire deal has been struck between Hamas and Israel. It will be rolled out over 3 phases. So what's your take on this?
Oh, look, it's a huge step forward, and I think the achievement of this agreement is something I think the world is all and has been waiting for some time. The pain and the heartache and the destruction in the Middle East as a result of this unprovoked attack by Hamas on the lawful citizens of Israel what all this pain has been caused from. Israel had every right to defend itself. If an attack of that nature was undertaken on Australia, the Australian people would expect the Australian government to hunt down the perpetrators, no matter where they were on the planet, and to bring their citizens home. And Israel still has hostages, and part of this agreement, bringing those hostages home, is an important thing. And the government of Israel has held the course, and they've done what any lawful government would do in protecting its people. But the bloodshed that has been shed there is at the hands of Hamas. They are the ones that initiated this. Those are the ones that must take full responsibility for this. But I'm just glad that we're now seeing an end in sight.
Are you hoping this deal will also help to lower tensions and decrease anti-Semitism here in Australia as well?
Well, it should, but we need strong leadership. And unfortunately, since those horrific events on the steps of Sydney Opera House back in October 2023, there hasn't been strong leadership here by the Prime Minister in bringing together National Cabinet and making sure there are stronger penalties, in sending strong messages. And for those that aren't citizens here, they should be put on a plane back to the country they came from. We don't want to have that hate permeate in the streets of our great country. That's not the country I grew up in, where people of a particular faith feel scared in their own homes, scared to actually be able to celebrate their faith in public, because that hate has hit the streets of our great country. That's not the Australia that I want to be part of, and not the one I want to leave behind. It takes strong leadership to make sure you change that culture in our country and you stamp it out. And unfortunately, Anthony Albanese hasn't done that.
And David, on another topic today, it does seem the Prime Minister has backtracked after promising to give more powers to the ACCC to intervene in supermarket price gouging. What does this mean for consumers?
Well, there's not a lot. I mean, unless the Prime Minister wants to adopt divestiture powers, he's basically saying it's business as usual for the supermarkets. The increase in penalties to $198,000 for infringement notice is the cost of them doing business. They'd pull that out of one of their tills. You need to change the culture and the behaviour in how they deal with farmers and how they deal with consumers, and they've been proven to have done both over. And so what we've done already is move a bill in Parliament to bring in divestiture powers, to bring in penalties, infringement notices at $2 million, scaling up to divestiture powers. And we already have divestiture powers in this country, despite the Prime Minister saying this is Stalinistic policy. He voted for the divestiture powers in 2019 in the energy sector. And when there's Australians tonight that won't be able to afford to put dinner on the table, you've got a Prime Minister that was prepared to stand up to the big energy CEOs. But for some reason, when Australians can't eat tonight, he's not prepared to stand up to the CEOs of Coles and Woolworths. Why wouldn't you do everything in your power? This Prime Minister's out of touch, and unfortunately Australians are paying the price for it. And in a country as rich as ours, when you can't afford to have dinner tonight, some Australians, that is an indictment on a government.
Okay, and just finally, while we have you, the Financial Review reporting that the ALP has recruited an advertising agency to help fend off the Greens at this federal election. What do you make of this?
Yeah, well, look, the Greens aren't just a risk to Labor, they're a risk to the entire nation. You've got a leader of the Greens that won't stand in front of the Australian flag, that in fact is advertising now, the Greens, about disrupting our celebration of Australia Day with rallies for Invasion Day and all sorts of things. They've whipped up and politicised the conflict in the Middle East, and they've been prepared to back the CFMEU. These aren't your average cute, cuddly tree huggers, the Greens. These people are extremists, and the reality is I think Australians need to understand they are a threat to Australia. and the fact that the Labor Party actually is trying to advertise their way out of it. They need to change their policies will be the first step, not trying to be green light. So look, that's up to the Labor Party, but we intend to take them on as well in Brisbane and in Ryan, those two seats that they've won in Queensland, and I think there's a good chance that Queenslanders have had a taste of what the Greens are and what they stand for, and have been somewhat disappointed to have buyer's remorse now.